All right, here we have Becky Smith. So what I'm looking at when I watch you swim from above water, looking at body position, head position, how your arms come around, that's called the recovery portion of the swim stroke, and then how far your hand and arms extend forward. So your body position is pretty good. Your hips and legs might be a little bit low in the water, but that will improve as your speed improves. Your extension, also pretty good. The difference between a good extension and a really good or great extension is all from how far you can stretch your lats. So if you can almost hyperextend or hyperstretch your lats, that's what you want to go for when you really get into technical swimming. Here you're getting a good reach forward, but with some improved stretching on dry land and just continue with swim practice, that'll improve. A way I can see that is how much space is in between your head and your arm when you reach forward. If there's kind of space there, then that means you have room for improvement. When you get really good at it, your shoulder might actually brush your chin as you extend forward. So head position is fine. When you turn to breathe, you might be turning a little more than necessary. That's something that improves with practice. And we discussed, you're doing the bilateral breathing, which is great. But we discussed in the races, especially in open water triathlon races, it's going to be okay to go ahead and breathe every stroke cycle or just to one side. The reason being, as you work on going faster, you're going to be swimming at a higher heart rate, and that means you need more oxygen, so just get as much oxygen in as you can. So at this angle, we get to see is your body coming out of streamline at all, and it's not, so that's good. Notice how your hips pretty much stay directly in line with your shoulders and your head, so that's a good thing. I recall that you don't actively kick much. You're going to want to include some sort of kick to support your strokes. It doesn't have to be a super strong kick, but just a little bit of kick to add a bit of propulsion when you're swimming is going to be helpful and useful. All right, now here we can see what sort of line you're pulling back through as you do your strokes. So your line is a little bit under your body, so you want those hand and forearm to be somewhat outside your body. So imagine that there are two sort of parallel corridors running along the sides of your body, and you want to keep your hand and arms pulling just outside your body. Anyway, that's how I see it, because I think that's where you can get the best leverage on the water. All right, underwater. So what we watch for here is what sort of pull do you have? And you're doing what we call a straight arm pull, where your hand pulls down or pushes down and then pulls back, more or less. There's a little bit of the elbow leading the stroke back, but it's minor. So this is basically a straight arm stroke, which is the second best way of swimming. It's not the best way of swimming. The best way is that high elbow catch that we discussed, where your hand and forearm really take a vertical angle as quickly as possible, as quickly as is humanly possible. I can see at the finish of these strokes, it looks like you pull through just a little further than halfway, and then as you finish the stroke, it doesn't look like you're putting much effort into the finishing push of the swim strokes. So that's something you can work on in practice as well. So we're working on catch here. All right, and this was probably where we talked about doing catch-up drill, but I told you to just focus on the catch. So here you're working on that high elbow catch. A little difficult to see from above water, but it has improved.
See a definite.
And if you go on the channel and watch Bree swimming underwater, you'll see that elbow catch that we're talking about here.
It's good. Yep. Same thing.
All right, and then this is drill, maybe catch-up drill, but thinking about really extending well. And you can see, watch this extension versus the extension you had at the beginning of this little video, and you can see it's a lot different. It's improved here. You're really reaching forward. So this is what you want to do with every swim stroke. And the reason being, when you reach forward like that, you cover just a little bit more water with each stroke, and that little bit of additional pull really makes a big difference when you add it up to half a mile or a mile. All right, and this is one arm drill. This one is great for improving your technique as well as for strength building. So, and you're doing a good job here. You're getting a nice reach forward. You might want to make sure you fully rotate so that your body is very forward at that apex of the stroke when you're reaching forward. So it's like rotate, extend fully, rotate, extend fully. That looks good. All right, looks good here as well. Just make sure by the rotation, I want you to kind of come square back to the water at the full extension of the stroke, whereas here you're staying a little bit on your side. It's not bad, but just a little bit for purposes of the drill. So you can see how much smoother you were pulling with your right arm versus the left arm here. See that kind of splashing going on. So everybody has a bit of a weak side. This drill is great to improve that. All right, and then this is trying to catch some of the catch underwater, and you can see how you've got that the bend in the elbow, and your hand and forearm are going vertical relative to the bottom of the pool, or parallel to the back wall of the pool. Either way you want to think about it. But the point being that in order to get the most surface area pulling you forward, the hand and forearm work together. And you can see the improvement here. You watch this and then go back and watch yourself swimming underwater previously. And you can see the difference. So that's pretty good. So it's not the most natural feeling thing, but this is freestyle technique, the high elbow catch. So good job.